In 3150 BC, there lived a king in Egypt who claimed to be God and ruled with cruelty and arrogance. His name was Musa bin Walid, but the world remembers him today as Pharaoh. At first, Pharaoh dismissed the rumors as superstition. But then he had a terrifying dream. A fire from Jerusalem destroyed all Egyptian homes, sparing only those of Bani Isra'il. Frightened by the dream, Pharaoh summoned his priests and magicians. They interpreted it as a sign that a child from Bani Isra'il would be born and eventually overthrow his kingdom. In fear, Pharaoh commanded that every newborn male from Bani Isra'il be killed. The massacre began, but over time, his advisors warned that the labor force was shrinking dangerously. The advisors proposed a compromise. Every other year, the newborn boys would be spared. Pharaoh agreed, and the policy of alternate year killings was implemented. During the year of mercy, Harun Az was born. The following year, when boys were to be killed again, Musa Az came into the world right in the heart of danger. Musa's mother was terrified. Allah inspired her, "Feed him, and when you fear for his life, place him in the river." He would be returned to her and become a prophet. Trusting Allah's guidance, she put baby Musa Az in a basket and set it afloat on the Nile. The current carried it straight to Pharaoh's palace, where his fate would take a divine turn. Pharaoh's wife, a kind and loving woman, discovered the basket. Her heart filled with affection for the baby, and she begged Pharaoh to let her raise him as their own. Pharaoh agreed, and so Musa Az, the child destined to challenge his rule, was raised in the very palace of the oppressor. Allah planned it perfectly from the beginning. Years passed, and Musa Az grew into a strong and wise man. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating a man from Bani Isra'il. Musa intervened and accidentally killed the Egyptian. Shocked by what happened, Musa Az repented immediately, and Allah forgave him. The next day, he saw the same Israelite fighting again and realized trouble might follow. The man mocked Musa, saying, "Will you kill me like yesterday?" Egyptians overheard this and rushed to inform the authorities about the murder that had occurred. A sincere well-wisher warned Musa Az that the chiefs were planning to kill him. Without any delay or preparation, Musa fled Egypt to save his life. He ran barefoot over burning sand, with no food or water, terrified of being captured. He headed toward Madian, leaving behind everything except his faith in Allah. Alone and in fear, Musa Az walked by night and hid during the day. For 8 nights, he journeyed through the desert, relying solely on Allah for strength. Eventually, he reached a place near Madian and collapsed beneath a tree from exhaustion. There, he saw 2 women struggling to draw water for their animals at a well. A massive stone blocked the well, which usually required 10 men to move. Despite his own thirst and fatigue, Moses helped the women by lifting the stone himself. After watering their animals, the women returned home and told their father about Musa Az. The kind old man sent for him and offered him food and shelter. At the old man's house, Musa Az shared his story why he fled Egypt and what had happened. Impressed by his character, the man offered Musa to marry one of his daughters. The condition was that Musa Az would work for him for 8 years or 10 if he wished. Musa agreed, thankful for the kindness and the new life ahead of him. Musa Az married and worked for 10 years, gaining wisdom and reflecting deeply. During this time, Allah prepared him for his mission through nature and solitude. After a decade, Musa Az decided to return to Egypt, longing to reunite with his mother and brother. The stage was now set for the next chapter in his divine journey. As Musa Az journeyed back, he stopped at Mount Sinai, where something miraculous happened. He saw a fire glowing from a distance. When he approached it, Allah spoke to him directly. It was here that Musa received prophethood and was chosen as a messenger. Allah commanded him, "Go to Pharaoh, for he has truly transgressed." Go to Pharaoh, for he has truly transgressed. But Musa was humble. He said, "O Allah, my speech is not fluent, and I fear he will reject me." So Allah granted him the support of his brother, Harun making him a prophet too. Together, Musa and Harun went to Pharaoh's court and invited him towards the worship of one true God. But Pharaoh, arrogant and proud, laughed at them. He mocked Musa and called him a madman and a magician. To challenge Musa, Pharaoh gathered his best magicians from across Egypt. In a grand gathering, they threw the ropes, which turned into snakes. But when Musa cast down his staff by Allah's will, it became a huge serpent and swallowed all the false magic. Despite all the signs and miracles, Pharaoh's heart remained hard. So Allah sent plagues, floods, locusts, lice, frogs, and blood one after the other, as warnings. Still, Pharaoh refused to submit. Despite all the signs and miracles, Pharaoh's heart remained hard. So Allah sent plagues, floods, locusts, lice, frogs, and blood one after the other, as warnings. Still, Pharaoh refused to submit. Finally, Allah commanded Musa to lead his people out of Egypt at night. As they reached the Red Sea, Pharaoh and his army chased them. Bani Isra'il were terrified. But Allah instructed Musa to strike the sea with his staff, and the sea split into two, making a path between walls of water. Musa and his people crossed safely. When Pharaoh tried to follow, the sea crashed down upon him and his army. At that moment, drowning, he tried to believe, but it was too late. Allah rejected his last-minute faith, and thus, the arrogant king who once called himself God met his end in the very sea he ruled beside. But for Musa and his people, it was just the beginning of freedom, faith, and a new chapter in history.